Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Nerd Rant.
Hi,
I'm
guys.
trying to get through this right now because, not gonna lie, we've just kind of been talking for the last hour about a lot of things, some of which are not gonna be an episode probably ever. Some of which, I'm like, let's just make this an episode, and then we kept talking.
All right. Anyways,
JJ, what?
formalities.
Wait, first. Yeah, Dr. Zombrain, also known as Seth, my co-host.
I'm Junior Wolf, also known as
forgot to turn the
JJ.
AC
My
off,
brain
my
is
bad.
broken.
Whoa! Wow.
Okay. So a little bit of context. All right, we joined and we didn't know what to talk about for this episode, and we were just like trying to come up with ideas. Eventually, we were talking a little bit about Lego games. Apparently, Seth doesn't like them. Blah blah blah. Then we started talking about what is original these days, and came to the conclusion nothing is really original. And then now we're but what different genres are there, and what defines
So we
a
went
genre?
into how. So you're going from all of that to nothing is original to in the nothing original world. Which, by the way, if you want to know about the problem of nothing being original, we do have an IP episode talking about how everything is unoriginal and they're just copy pasting everything.
We do.
You should go listen to that.
It's one of our first ones. Go watch it.
Yes. But we were talking about, Lego specifically, right? That's where this all started, Lego. And I'm like, well, there's a driving game. And then we were also talking story games and what those are. And I'm like, okay, I thought the idea, and this is going to be the pilot. Do we want to do this series? Should I introduce the series now?
I mean, I guess so.
So this is not going to be what we're going to be doing for the next few weeks, but this is, if we don't have an idea, we can have something, and this is going to be fun to go through. We're going to go through the genres of game. So first-person shooter games, different types of story games, choose your own adventure, open world. We're going to talk about sandboxes. But then we were trying to figure out genres, and then JJ's over here on Steam and Xbox, and apparently shmup is a genre.
Yeah.
3D is a genre.
Shoot 'em up games, and then Xbox has genres what do we got here? Card and board, family and kids, strategy, simulation, shooter.
So when I'm thinking video games, I ain't having no card and board game video game. Sure, there is an adaptation One Piece, right? One Piece just had a live action adaptation. It's an adaptation, but I don't say that as a whole separate genre. It's still... Is it though? I don't even know.
I don't even know, bro.
I don't even know,
the
bro.
Steam genres has I kid you not, 30 different genres listed here. It's not needed at all. You have sports sim and team sports. Those are the
What?
same
Those
thing.
are two different genres?
Those are the same thing. Why is story rich a genre? Shouldn't that just be defined by the game? Huh? Bro.
JJ, I don't like you.
It makes no sense.
So, this is going to be the pilot. We're going to just go through some main ones. So, shooter. And because, I feel if we're going to be talking about certain types of games, we're going to have to broaden that. Because Fortnite is a battle royale and shooter, but it's a third-person shooter. So, we're going to have to broaden the first person to, just general shooter. But then we're going to go through some main ones, racer, shooter. And we're going to classify what makes it. Because of if I'm over here on a war boat, right, trying to sink ships, I'm technically racing against time. Is that a racer? Feels like Steam might put a racer on that. Am I wrong? No, you're probably right. So we're gonna go through some main genres, and these are probably gonna be the genres we're gonna talk about throughout the series.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna kind of define what we want in each genre, aka not the level of quality, so not story rich, and also not the medium, so not 3D or animated or
it'll be
something.
Is Hogwarts Legacy a action game, a strategy game? We have to basically pick out what it fits into best, but to do that we have to kind of decide what our categories of genre are.
Pretty much. So that way we can also decide this together, so we have these conversations in our own time. We know what a genre is. Because honestly, I feel like this topic has come up multiple times on what is this.
Yeah.
So now we can decide it for each other. We can work through this as besties. What the hell we're talking about?
All right, so
I don't know.
I've pulled up Notepad on my computer here, and we're gonna slowly write down our genres that we decide are valid genres.
Okay, Oh, I'm still dying, and especially with all the commotion, my throat is very dry. So I'm coughing. So if I just randomly just full on silence, that is it.
Brilliant.
I also may just need a second to scream internally, but externally.
I mean, valid.
So, how do we want to start this? Do you say something? I'll be like, I agree, or I disagree.
Okay,
and
well,
we just debate
I
that.
feel like one very obvious one in my mind for genres of games is like fighting games, and I don't mean like games where you fight things. Like I mean those competitive
Spider-Man,
like Smash, like Smash Bros. And like
that's what I'm saying. Like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter.
Those are very obvious.
The ones that have a
themes.
fancy controller, and people literally go to tournaments with jumbo cardboard covered controllers.
You gotta build up all those like combos and stuff.
Yeah, I'd say that's definitely A1. Now, is that as popular as it used to be? Like, you know, like when Fortnite came out, now everyone's free to play. Like, that's not a genre we're going to talk about later. But, like, now everyone's doing a battle royale. That doesn't mean, like, everyone's doing fighter games, but it's definitely one of the foundation ones, too. Like, starting ones.
Yeah.
It was fighter.
Yeah, because you have Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and all of those like foundations of what
those
made
are the ones
gaming.
You're going to
These
the
were
arcade before it's even at home. Yeah,
these are
before
arcade
even at
games.
home gaming. These are game. Like, So I feel like fighting's a good one.
Yeah. So I'm gonna write down fighting on my notepad here. Now, for the sake of actually keeping ourselves true here, I say let's pick out 5 games for each of the genres we come up with that definitely, like, no doubt fit into our category.
Okay.
So for fighting,
and again, this is because another game that we were just talking about. Like we'll talk about racing later, but like what I was saying is like there's multiple parts to everything, right? Like there's customization, there's free play. But like for racing games, yes, there's story. I say the main part of a racing game is the racing. Like the driving.
Yeah.
So like when we're saying like when we're about to list off this for this category and every other category, the main part is the fighting. Because sure, I think there is definitely a lot of story in Mortal Kombat, but the main part is the fighting.
Yeah.
Nobody's classifying Mortal Kombat as a story game.
Yeah. Just like Fortnite isn't technically a story game, it's a battle royale.
But there's story. So, for fighting, do you want to list like your own 5 or?
I'd say let's agree on 5. So let's just go through the different games in the genre and agree on 5 of them.
First 2, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat.
Yes, absolutely. Both of them very much foundations
Yeah.
of fighting games. So I feel like those are definitely good entries. And just to be clear, we do mean like if it's a franchise, we're not going to call out like Mortal Kombat 7 or something. We're going to just say Mortal Kombat in general, and that will be the entry. I'd
so I have
say
another one.
Yep.
Go ahead. You could go one.
All right. I was going to say
Injustice.
Injustice. What was that?
It's Mortal Kombat but DC.
It's
It's like it's all those characters. It's literally the exact same. Like you choose characters and you're fighting each other. 2D-ish. Left to right.
I think Smash Bros is one that we have to put on here.
Yes. Which again, like there's different types, right? There's different types of racing games. Like I have this one that's like really 2D and like pixely, and it's very generic. Or like you have the ones in the arcade, and that's like a racing game versus something like Gran Turismo. So like I feel like Smash is very different than something like Mortal Kombat and those are all 3 very similar games, but they're in that umbrella of fighting.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know a 5th.
I do. I'm gonna call out an actual newer one. I'm gonna call out Multiverses.
That's right. Yeah, that would be a fighting game. So that's on that same level like Super Smash. It's like Injustice is very, very similar to Mortal Kombat, where there's like quips to each other and you have very special abilities. Whereas whereas Super Smash having like that HP, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, Multiverses is just Warner Brothers like collide of universes to create a fighting game.
Which, how did that do? It did well at first, and then did it die? And that's why they
I don't
shut
think
it
it
down,
died.
or they're just going to.
I think they shut it
release?
down to work on it more, and then they're going to release it later.
I don't know, because I also saw like mixed things that like it died like a month or 2 after, like it wasn't balanced. I don't know. That's not what we're talking about. No.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah. But anyways, that's 5 for fighting. So I feel like that is definitely a very solid 5.
And that's also to give us a foundation when we think fighting, these are the games we're thinking of. So when we say it's a fighting game, one of these. And I think from now on, we should try to get 2 different types, like how there's Super Smash and Mortal Kombat. 2 different types. So every other category, I feel like there's definitely different types to said category. So what's the next one?
That is a very good question. Do we want to consider sports as a category?
Yeah, I'd say sports as a category. This one we could shoot through, just like the sports games.
Because like
I feel like there's no really debate on sports games. It's like FIFA, right? Like that's a sports game. Which FIFA doesn't exist anymore apparently. I don't know if you knew that. They rebranded.
Dang, bro.
Yeah. I can't. The show, that's a PlayStation baseball exclusive. But yeah, it's the sport. There is no crazy, baseball, but I have an explosive bat. It's literally just the sport.
Yeah.
Like, there's no crazy, it's just the sport.
So I'd say FIFA's 1.
FIFA, the show, NBA 2K, or NBA.
I think it's just 2K.
2K. But that's like, there's specific games, isn't there?
Is it?
Is 2K the whole game? I thought 2K was a specific game.
I don't know. I actually don't know. Oh yeah, no.
We don't
I think
play
it's,
these games.
I think it's the like branding, because there's also WWE 2K.
Okay. Well, there's another sports game. But hey, we need a second type. So here's my second type. Wii Sports.
Honestly, yeah. That is a sports game, and I would definitely put it in this category.
It's just you playing the sports. Like I said, I think with sports games, honestly, I'd say it would be a different category if you are making it crazy. Like if you're adding extra stuff to the sport.
Now,
I don't mean like rules, but like fancy bats that like bounce off better or something.
Here's where I feel like this genre is actually going to blur a little bit, which I didn't expect. Rocket League.
So,
is that a driving game or is that a sports game? Because it's technically soccer, but it's also driving.
I don't play
cars.
Rocket League because I just see Rocket League as soccer with a car.
Yeah, but like it's a car, so you drive.
All right, we're saving that for the end with the miscellaneous category.
No. I don't think we can pull that one quite yet, buddy.
See, I'm going to say it's not a sports game because when I think it is a sports game, it is the main sport. So soccer with people kicking, like the main in-person sport.
So it has to be a real sport.
It's real sport for it to be a sport game. It's like WWE.
So like Tony
baseball,
Hawk's Pro Skater wouldn't
Tony
count.
Hawk would be I would count that.
But that's not a sport. Skating isn't a sport.
Are you sure? Because bowling's technically a sport.
Well,
chess is a sport.
There's professional skating, but it's not the same like vein as soccer or football or hockey, you know?
Why are we having trouble on the sports? This is why we need to do this, guys. This episode's important.
Oh gosh.
I guess you're right. Like it's not, but it is. But it's not. You're asking me the questions. How about you answer your own questions? What are you thinking on Rocket League and Tony Hawk Pro Skater?
Rocket League, I would say Rocket League is really interesting because on one side they did literally rip off soccer and driving, but at the same time they also created something completely new that nobody would have thought of before. Like it's about as original as a game can be these days. Like you had never seen anything like it before.
It's original because it's taking unoriginal content and just smashing them together.
Yeah, and that's what originality is at this point. And so I find it hard to genre that because they literally took 2 completely different things and put them together. I would honestly say it's more of a sport game. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard.
But like I said, like when I think sport, I'm thinking like just baseball and basketball, like basic sports. But now Tony Hawk, is that a sport?
I mean,
is skating actually a sport? Like by I
don't know.
I know you said it's not, but that's the same thing with like chess. Chess is a sport. But is it? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do two different things. First, we're gonna look up the definition of a sport. We're getting real game theory and film theory in here. What is the definition of a sport? That's an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment.
I feel like that's too broad.
I mean, you did see the food theory about what a sports drink is.
Yeah.
A lot of these definitions are just broad, like it's just cool.
Sport pertains to any form of physical activity or game, often competitive and organized, that aims to use, maintain, or improve physical ability and skills while providing enjoyment to participants and, in some cases, entertainment to spectators. All right, I actually want to fixate on that last part. Entertainment to spectators.
That's what
I feel like that is really something that's going to
entertainment.
define what we are thinking of as sport. And so, if it is something that you would perform in front of a crowd, I'd say yes. And for the sake of Rocket League, literally is performed in a stadium, like the game, in the game, you are playing soccer in a stadium. I'd say that is what is going to have me consider it as a sport.
Yeah?
Yeah, do you agree with that?
I disagree, but I agree. Like, I agree on your logic. Like, your logic's very much there, but I just don't see Rocket League as the same as the show. But that's the problem with the genres, isn't it?
It's also not a driving game because it's not the same as Forza, you know?
Yeah. But then with the whole entertainment thing, wouldn't that make everything for your entertainment? So doesn't that make, I don't know, Detroit Become Human?
Yeah. See, that's why I'm
game
fixating on that audience thing. Like, while, yes, everything can be performed in front of people, I feel like it's sports specifically. When you think of sports, you think of everyone going
like
to see the game
in a
stadium, you know? And that's what makes the sport a sport. And so if Rocket League is literally calling out, hey, this game is happening in a stadium, then I'd say that is it basically saying this is a new sport.
I guess so. And what about Tony Hawk?
Tony Hawk is skate park and open world. So I would say it's not performed in front of
genre now,
people.
JJ? Is skate park a genre?
No. I'd say it just doesn't fit the genre enough to make our top 5. Even if down below it might be down there, I feel like it's not good enough to fit our top 5.
Cool. So Rocket League is more sport than Tony Hawk. My brain hurt.
Oh gosh. All right, so we have FIFA, NBA, Wii Sports, and Rocket League.
Okay, sure. We're
One more. We need one more. We need one more.
Just
there's
games.
WWE.
I'm googling sports games. No, I look up a sports game and the third one's Rocket League. Above FIFA 23. Bruh. NBA 2K23.
Mario Sports.
Nah, fam. We gotta get a little bit better than that.
Oh my god. Madden. What about Madden?
Madden.
I feel like Madden's a good one.
Just
yeah.
I'm gonna say it because we're at 20 minutes and we're only at the second genre and there's like 1,000 more.
Madden. Okay. Next genre.
Doing a shooter?
FPS, yeah. FPS?
Yeah. Shooter. Because I feel like it needs to be or is it FPS? Is that like its own genre?
First-person shooter.
First-person shooter. But that means...
Well, name a third-person shooter that's not like a battle royale.
I'm trying to think. There are ones. I pretty much only play Call of Duty, but there very much are third-person shooters.
But usually if it's third person, it's shooting and other things. not specifically like guns locked in.
I mean,
I'm gonna say
About to say
first-person
Hitman,
shooter
but
is
Hitman's
its
not.
own genre. We'll go with FPS for this at least.
okay.
So, Call of Duty, right?
Call of Duty, yeah. Call of Duty, that's a big one. Again, this is where we're saying franchise, not individual, because we're not about to list, the top 5 Call of Duties as the best shooters,
Halo.
even if that's them. Halo, yeah, Halo.
Borderlands.
Is it? Or is it something
I mean,
else?
it's literally all about getting crazy guns to shoot your opponents.
That's true,
like,
yeah.
And it is first person. And so while, yes, it is definitely a more unique first person shooter, it is 100% a first person shooter.
Okay. We'll go with that. And that also gives a very... See, I also hate that because that just widens the range of what a first-person shooter is. Because that's, like, Call of Duty is such a different first-person shooter than Borderlands.
Just like Rocket League is
And
such a
that's-
different sports game than FIFA.
Yeah, and I hate that, but I also think that's good.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of makes it harder. And I
Yeah.
think we're just going to say this halfway in. What we have learned here is the definitions of genres and a lot of things are very broad and open. Like
I think-
sports, what is a sport is so open.
I think because of today's world, we've kind of narrowed what we expect a genre to be. And so going into this and actually breaking down what we consider to be a genre, it's causing us to realize like some games are actually other genres and they do fit there. We just didn't think of them that way.
Yeah. Like, I do not see Borderlands as a first-person shooter, because I think this is another part. Multiplayer / single player. It's like single-player story games versus multiplayer. When I think first-person shooter, I'm thinking that PvP. So, like Call of Duty 6v6, Halo, you have that type of thing, like deathmatch or something. Whereas Borderlands is a lot much more PvE. Yes, there's co-op. I say co-op and single-player are the same thing versus more multiplayer.
Now here's
Which is a whole other thing.
Here's a questionable one. Overwatch.
Yeah, I'd say that's a first-person shooter.
But there's practically no guns.
It's
almost all
Is it
magical
guns? It's
abilities
just
and
shooter.
gadgets
just
and
shooter. Because
I mean,
Call
yeah,
of Duty has
that's
laser
that's
guns
very fair,
too.
actually. Yeah, you make a good point. It's first-person
it's-
shooter, so yeah.
Call of Duty has advanced warfare with laser guns, and I'm shooting sound at people.
Yeah.
It's just shooter.
So yeah.
So I would absolutely classify that as a first-person shooter.
All right.
Now, again, this is where there's other categories on that. There's more strategy than something like Call of Duty. Call of Duty is just kind of run and gun, whereas that is a very much strategical game.
Yeah.
So is it a strategy game or is it a shooter game? Like, if it's primary genre, is it shooter or is it strategy?
Yeah.
I'm asking you.
I mean, for which one? Overwatch?
Overwatch, yeah.
I'd say its primary would be like tactical strategy.
Okay. So are we going to put that in our shooter category?
I think yes. I think so. Because like you said before, there are like different types of games, just like fighting games has, your Street Fighters and your Smash Bros. There are different kinds. And
Okay.
whereas FPS, like I'm even kind of wanting to throw in Valorant here, because Valorant is an esports game.
CSGO. Like
yeah.
that esport, like esports. Like Overwatch, Valorant, CSGO. It's a very different... Now, yes, there's esports game Call of Duty.
But they're
when you
very
think esports,
different
you're thinking
instead of
that type.
Halo
and they
and Call
all
of Duty,
feel
yeah.
very similar. Now, yes, Overwatch feels very much different, but it definitely has this more similarity to esports than something like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Whereas Call of Duty is that more casual, just kind of chaos.
Well, I think we have our 5.
What are they?
Call of Duty,
Overwatch?
Halo, Borderlands, Overwatch, and Valorant.
Borderlands. And then there's Borderlands, which is that more open world, single-player, first-person shooter.
Yeah. I actually like this lineup. I think I'm the most positive about
That's
these 5.
actually... I hate that, but same. Because,
Yeah.
like, sports is different. Fighters, whatever. Fighters kind of whatever. Neither of us really play fighter, I think. I mean, I tried Multiverses. I think I got, like, 2 hours in it.
Yeah.
Just not my type of thing. I don't know about you, about fighter games. I've played a little bit of Injustice and Mortal Kombat because I got it for free with PlayStation Plus. So I haven't really touched that. And that's, again, that one I think is set in stone. I don't think there's going to be a division on what a fighter game is. Sports, apparently there is.
Yeah.
But this definitely has that range.
This
of
one feels solid.
shooters.
All right, I think we should get the other one we've already talked about out of the way. Racing.
Racer? Yeah, racer. Racing. Racer, racing.
I'm gonna say
same thing.
racing. Yeah.
Racing.
So I think obviously Forza has to be a big one.
And Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Right? Because those are the console exclusive racing games, right? Because generally, I don't play racing games much. Those are console exclusive, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Cool. So one's on PlayStation, one's on Xbox.
Yeah.
So those are the two ones. Do you want to talk about them first, or do I have another one I can list?
What is it?
Need for Speed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Need for Speed. The Crew.
I don't know much about that one.
I don't know much about it either, but it's very similar to something like Need for Speed, where you customize a car. I think there's a little bit more times where you're maybe in a boat or you're able to get out and walk around a little bit. But again, I want to throw that out there. Now we have to talk about what is a racing game. Like, can you walk like in like some of these other games like Need for Speed? I do not think, other than cutscenes, there is a time where you're not in your car.
Yeah.
So if I'm out of the car, does that make it not a racing game?
But then would that make GTA a racing game? Because sure, a lot of it is about the cars, but you do other things as well.
So now this is where you have to classify, what are we going to classify as a racing game?
I'd say it's restricted to the car. Like, if it,
Restricted
other
to
than
the-
like maybe a little bit of get out
I'm
and
gonna
interact
say-
with the immediate
yeah.
area around
I'm
you.
going to say a percentage. So I'm going to say
Yeah.
like 95% is in the car.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a time where you're in your house or something. That's not a big part. Maybe you're going to bed. Maybe you're going to the computer to pick up a race and different types of racing games. But the primary thing is the car. You're in the car for more than anything else you could possibly do. More than walking, more than loading screens, you're in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Because that gives a little bit of leeway to, are we going to specify car or vehicle? Because there's plane and boat ones too. I could be racing in a boat. Is that a racing game? Kind of like those arcade games where you like throw the quarter in, you're on the little jet ski and you're going through. Is that a racing game? It's not in a car, but the entire part is on the vehicle and you're racing.
I don't think you can get out of your car on the Crew, just for the record, because I looked it up.
You can't.
Yeah.
I've heard of it for like a solid 3 minutes from Joey.
Yeah.
So, I just know that is a car game. The face of it is a car.
I don't know of
So,
any boat racing games here. Let me look it up. Boat racing game.
like I said, they're not super popular, but like I said, even arcade, that is still a video game. It is a, so that's why I want to specify.
Yeah, I'd say
was.
it just encapsulates vehicles. Like, as
Vehicles,
long as it's
okay.
in a vehicle and the main point is to be in that vehicle doing things, yeah.
Cool. Whereas I'd say, honestly, I was about to say GTA is not that, but the main point is, but then there's that percentage, right? It's not in the car enough. The main part is Grand Theft Auto cars.
Now,
But there's so much other thefts.
I do want to call out, like, I'm not sure exactly which one to call out. I'm just going to call out the one that I've played the most, which probably a deep cut, but a game kind of like Sonic All-Stars Racing, right? Like, it's not open world where you go and like find a race and race it. It's purely like, here's a track, you race the track, like Mario Kart. There we go. That's
Mario
probably
Kart. I was about to say Mario Kart.
I don't know why I
more
didn't think of
people
that.
know.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of that. Mario Kart is
What
definitely
you were
a
talking
racing
about right
game.
there, I'm like, I'm not going to say Mario Kart.
Yeah,
Because more people are going to know that.
Yeah, definitely Mario Kart. Yeah.
So
yeah.
what are you saying that's a racing game, or are you asking?
I'm
'cause
saying
I would 100%
yeah,
that is a
100% that's a
racing
racing game. Yeah.
Racing game. Again, this is those genres,
yeah,
right?
it's like that
that's
different
very
type of racing
to
game, yeah.
Need for Speed, but it is very much a racing game and a
Yes.
premise that you're in something and you're racing.
Yes,
and that's the primary point
definitely
of the
need to
game.
have that one.
So is that it?
We need one more.
Need for
Forza,
Speed,
Gran Turismo, Need
Forza.
for Speed, Mario Kart.
Crew.
We want to add the Crew. I feel like neither of us know enough about it for us to say, like,
Are you really saying
to
you know
be in our
that
top
much
5.
about I said Injustice and you agreed with that, and neither of us have really played that, so if I do want to quickly look up though, because the Crew, though neither of us know it, it is a decently big racing game. I think there's another Crew coming out
actually,
this
I want to
year.
call out this one. Hill Climb Racing.
No, I'm gonna say no because you don't play against someone else. there is a race.
But in Hill Climb Racing, you do.
The mobile game?
Yes,
going
not Hill
on the
Climb.
hill?
Not Hill Climb. Hill Climb Racing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So side scrollers like that do count.
Yes. It does not need to be some crazy fancy 3D, like, the new ones. Because I very much think, when I think racing, and the games that I've played, I do have Need for Speed. I've played a good few hours of both, multiple Need for Speed games. But the game that I've played most racing are those arcade racing games. So if I'm going to classify that as racing at the same level of Gran Turismo, I'm going to say Hill Climb Racing.
Yeah. All right, so I think
game.
that's a good one to add then. It gives us our variation. So
Yeah.
that's our 5 then. Forza, Gran Turismo, Need for Speed, Mario Kart, and Hill Climb Racing.
Cool. And obviously, like we said, the crew, there are other options. These are our top 5. These are the only 5. We just want a genre. So these we are classifying as racing games.
All right, what's next?
What
What
so we
about
talked about
platformer?
fighters? Just thinking that. So if also, do we still want it? So we're defining these genres and what makes the genre. We're going to split these up into episodes. I feel like this one and fighters are similar, like something that we combine, because I don't think either of us can do a whole hour-long episode on fighting games. But platformers, I feel like it could be, because would Mario Odyssey be a platformer?
No, I'd call that more of an open world.
Open world. So then platformers, are we thinking like Super Mario's Brothers, like the classic?
Yeah, like
that?
2D platformers. Or like at least 2.5D. Like something that's side view, platform, like on platform to platform kind of thing,
Cool. Yeah. So I don't even know. That's definitely a genre. That's very much a genre, but the only thing that comes to mind is Super Mario's.
I mean, I'll add that. Just Mario. I know a couple others
I want to say
personally.
Yeah. Side-scroller games.
There's, I want to say, Ori and the
first
Blind,
thing
Ori, just Ori in general.
Yeah.
The Ori series. That is a hugely popular side-scroll platformer game that also dips into RPG mechanics. So it gives a good amount of variation, but is at heart a platforming game.
So platformer specifically.
Cuphead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cuphead.
All right.
For sure. Yeah, I'm looking. I know a lot of people. Have you heard of Celeste?
I have heard of Celeste. I would definitely add that there.
Yes, that is. I have not played it, but I do want to play it.
Yes.
It seems great.
What about
I don't know this game. You're gonna know it more. Hollow Knight. I'm looking at the platform on Google.
Hollow
and it's
Knight?
saying
Yes.
Hollow Knight is a platformer.
I would call
don't
that a
know
platformer.
The game.
I'm not gonna add that to our top 5 though, because I feel like we can get more variation than that. That one's pretty similar to games like Ori.
I feel like there is variation, but
what about
variation,
Terraria?
I don't know the game.
Would you call Terraria a platformer?
No.
No?
I'd say side scroller is a, because I googled side scroller at first, and then you said platform. I'm like, yeah, because Terraria is not a platformer. Yes, there's platforms, but it's not a platformer.
But I also
Side-scrolling
don't think, I think side scroll as a genre is too
not a
broad,
genre.
so I don't think
think
that counts.
I think side scrolling is going to be the same as 3D. I think it is a visual.
Yeah, so
Like,
I'd say
Terraria would be sandbox
Terraria would
as
fall
a
under
side
sandbox.
scroller. So side scrollers are a type of platform.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm thinking, is platformer specifically 2D, or can it be 3D? Kind of like parkour. Is parkour a platform, or is that different?
I'd say that's more of parkour, so I would say no, that does not count for platform.
No. Okay, so specifically like 2D.
Yeah.
Because I'm also looking at platformer, and it says right here Super Mario Odyssey on Google for platformer.
Yeah, I would not consider that a platformer, in my opinion.
I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I'm just trying to really understand what a platformer is, because when I'm thinking, I'm just thinking like jumping on the platform.
Would you
to get through
consider
a level.
the Sonic games platformers, or are those more side scrolls?
I'd say definitely platformer.
Definitely platformer?
Yeah, because it's just like the original like Mario games, right? Like there is Frontier and Odyssey, like they've branched out, but like the classic, you're jumping through, up and down, get the coins.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a little more loop-de-loops than Mario, but it's that very similar feel.
All right, well, that's 5 then. Mario, Ori,
Cool.
Cuphead, Celeste, and Sonic.
Cool.
That's really good. I feel like Mario's the most difficult one there because obviously he has a lot of different games.
That's why I wanted to specify like Super Mario Brothers, because there's also like Luigi Mansion, which is not a platformer.
Yeah. Ori is a lot more RPG
I haven't heard
than
of
the
that
rest
one,
of these.
but-
Pull it up. I'm sure you've seen it before. I think it might be an Xbox exclusive, which is probably why you haven't heard of it. But it's more
How
of
do you
an
spell it?
RPG. ORI. But it's a lot more of an
that looks-
RPG
I've seen it.
story
I've seen
focused
it.
one.
Looks very
So
familiar.
it gives us that. Cuphead is one of those kind of more like beat 'em ups.
Yeah,
beat 'em up,
it's
shoot
that
'em up kind of thing,
platformer, and
but
it's not just
platformer.
left to right,
Yeah.
but there's shooting and a little bit of like
Yeah.
puzzle or something.
And you got Celeste, which is like your pixel perfect platformer.
yeah.
And then Sonic is like fast paced, like more of a visual platformer, I'd say.
Yeah. This is good.
Yeah.
This is good. I think we're on to something, like trying to really break these down. And honestly, I think it'd be so fun if MatPat did a game theory on genres
Bro.
and doing exactly what we're doing and like going through like the definitions, because I honestly haven't really thought, like, thinking of Rocket League as a sports game and Tony Hawk as something else. I've never thought of that.
Yeah.
Like, I've never thought of Borderlands as a shooter, but based on like our definition of what a shooter is, it very much is.
All right, so what's next then?
Do you want to go sandbox?
Yeah, sure. Sandbox.
Minecraft.
Yep.
Can't. So okay, let's again. We talked about this before. Now let's do it on the podcast. Let's define what a sandbox is.
I see sandbox is here's a world with a loose like idea of something you might need to do, but you have fun, you be creative.
It's like
in your own way.
Minecraft. You survive and you get
Yeah.
better stuff, but there's no order. I can go do trading to get that, or I can go mining, or I can do adventuring. There's many ways to get to said point. And I think that's another important part that I want to say about sandboxes is there is not a single way of doing it. If I want to get wood, I do not have, or if I want stone tools, I do not have to break a tree down. I can do it a different method.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's the easiest way, but there are there's multiple ways to get to your end goal.
Yeah.
So with that, Terraria, there's an end goal of Moonlord, but you can do that with different classes. You could do it without fighting, many different ways.
Yeah. So Terraria definitely falls into that.
Terraria. So then here's that other one, Subnautica. We decided that is a sandbox, and I just never really thought of it as a sandbox, but I guess it is on the definition of what a sandbox is.
Because you can build and do whatever you want. There's multiple ways to reach your objective, and it's huge open world, harvest, whatever, so...
So there's a little bit more structure to Subnautica, where you do have to get certain materials to get, your breathing port to make your base. But it's very open on like the food and what you want to do first. I can make my food tank, or my ship first, or I can make my house first.
Yeah.
So there's no finite, like, this is the way you have to go. 1 to 2 to 3. It's what I want to do.
Now, just to be clear, I don't think we should mention Roblox, because that is first and foremost a building platform. Like, I think that's more of a game dev.
Yeah, it'd
tool.
be this. I would not. Now, are there specific sandbox games? Maybe, sure. But I do not see Roblox as a game at all.
So
I've never seen Roblox as a game. I see it as a platform to play games.
Yeah, so we're not going to add that one for all of you screaming about Roblox. What else?
So
Do we want to count Lego Worlds?
We can.
Yeah.
Or do we want to try to get some other good ones that are more like to open that variety?
Here's an interesting one. What about Skyrim?
Okay. So
Skyrim.
here's the other thing.
You can't.
These are open worlds. Is open world a different thing than sandbox? Because Skyrim, I feel like there is a lot more structure than something like Minecraft with side quests. But
then it's also comparable to the structure of Subnautica, which we are counting as a sandbox.
so, because I haven't seen Skyrim.
All right.
I've seen
How about this?
memes
How
of
about this?
Skyrim.
I'm saying what if there has to involve some level of creativity in Sandbox? So like Minecraft, you have building blocks, Terraria also building blocks, Subnautica, you build your base, stuff like that. Elder Scrolls, you cannot build. And I'm saying that's where we are going to probably draw the line for that is...
So you have to actually do, like,
you have to be able to be creative.
Because, like, Zelda could be, like, you could do stuff, but it's not. I don't think anyone's classifying Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom is a different story, because apparently you can build. I don't know that yet. I'm not going to say anything.
I've seen a good bit. I personally still wouldn't consider it a sandbox.
But yeah, I'd still classify that as an open world rather than anything else.
So not Skyrim. In that case, I definitely think we should add Lego Worlds then, because Lego Worlds is hugely creative. All right, so we need one more.
One more?
Yeah. Minecraft, Terraria, Subnautica, Lego Worlds.
Oh, yes.
What about Ark?
Actually, I was thinking that when we had our original discussion before this, I was definitely thinking Ark, when you're, like, describing how Subnautica is a sandbox, like, you're right, then I would totally classify Ark as a survival. Sandbox game.
Because you're building a base, exploring, you have a loose objective, which is like investigate the weird towers and crap going on. But you don't have to do it at all to enjoy the experience. So I'd say definitely Ark.
I think, again, Ark is a good example, and to open that it does not have to be the only thing. Subnautica, there's very much more, like you're trying to figure stuff out, just like Ark. But Ark, I'm pretty sure there's level ups, right?
Yeah.
Like you have stats. You don't have that in Minecraft and Terraria and these types of games. So I think that opens up the variety of what sandbox games are.
Yeah.
They can be like RPG, MMO type games. They cannot be. They can be more story games or not.
All right, well, that's Sandbox then. Minecraft, Terraria, Subnautica, Lego Worlds, and Ark.
Cool. Any other ones? So, story. We're pushing story off to the end, because that's probably going to take the rest. Do we want to just do a miscellaneous genre?
No.
So not miscellaneous, but like, because there's so many other genres, right? Like there are third person, there's battle royale, there is what's it called? Side scroller, could almost be a different game than platformers. Because there's so many genres, so we very much can keep going. These are the main ones that like most people play. I feel like maybe we can quickly go into BR. But then after that, there are other genres, but we don't have time to list every single one.
Yeah.
There's 100% 5 to 10 of every single genre. Like, we can list, like, 20 and list, like, 10 to each. Take a little bit of research, but there are at least 10, with the primary thing being that genre.
Yeah. We are currently at 3, 4, 6 genres. Fighting sports, FPS, racing, platformer, and sandbox.
Cool. So I think we have to do BR. Or Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Because, kind of our foundation is Fortnite. But then, is there any other ones you really want to talk about? Because I'm trying to think, like I said, there are other ones. I just don't know.
But I also don't think we can class story as a genre when we do get there. We would have to break that up
into those sub ones that we talked about beforehand.
Yeah.
Or something else. We'll decide that as we talk.
All right, so Battle Royale. Let's tackle that real quickly. So Fortnite, that's given.
Fortnite, PUBG, and Apex. Those are the big three. Warzone.
Yes, it is.
Now, there's so many other types that I can't remember. There's some really fun ones that it's like Magic Battle Royale, or there's one that was only Melee. There are other Battle Royale games. Those are definitely the 4 that people are playing.
It's tough to get these ones, I think.
H1Z1. H1Z1. If we can't think of another one, we can definitely do that. Realm Royale. There is Fall Guys.
I don't think that's a Battle Royale.
Minecraft Hunger Games. Creative Destruction. Oh, we have Blackout for BO4. Forza Horizon 4. I'm sorry, I do not think that's a Battle Royale game. Pac-Man 99. Okay, here's a great one for a fifth one to open up the genre. Slither.io.
Dang.
I think that is a great fifth one to open up the genre. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it does fit the label because a battle royale is just a large number
Last
of
man
players,
standing.
last man
Yeah.
standing. So yeah.
Because a whole bunch of other games, but I think that opens it up. So we have the very similar ones, like we have PUBG and Warzone, very similar, like realistic, gritty shooter. Then you have the crazy sci-fi. Then you have the cartoon. So we have different art styles, but we have a different type. It's not just shooter. Slither.io, which I think is the biggest one, but we also have the Gario and some other ones that we can totally throw in here.
So I'm just gonna put
in.
.io.
Okay, .io, yeah. Because there's also the other ones like Realm Royale, and there's other ones that we could totally talk about. But we have the main four, and then one to kind of throw it out of the norms. I really threw you for a loop there, didn't I?
Yeah. All right.
I like that though, the main four, then breaking it up a bit.
All right.
Any other genre, or do we want to get into the meat of this?
I don't know. This is. I think we do need to break this one down because we have 15 minutes left. So
yeah,
I'd say let's jump into this. Let's immediately say RPG is not a genre, and I've always hated that because almost every game is a role-playing game. So you can go and shove RPG up your
RPG.
rear
What
tailgate.
about MMO?
Massively multiplayer online. Once
Like
again,
an
not
MMORPG.
a genre. I'd consider that more so kind of like saying a game is side scroll. It's just saying what the mechanic of the game is.
So like RuneScape or World of Warcraft.
Yes,
What genre would you put those in?
I couldn't tell you because I haven't played either nor looked into either. So I don't know.
You don't know WoW?
No, bro. I've never
Dang,
done.
bro.
I've never.
You just outed yourself on the internet so hard.
Cool.
It's crazy.
Anyways.
So again, though, there's other ones I just don't think are big enough anymore, or there are sub points to it. So like side scroller, I think could be a genre.
Yeah.
But you could almost see it as a medium of art, like 3D versus 2D.
Yeah. I mean, could we say, by that logic, could we say open world?
I'd say open world is...
Because that is, once again, kind of like saying platformer, but it's also kind of like saying 2D.
So this is a big thing that me and Jay talk about is like what a story game is, right? Because I don't play story games. And when I think story games, the primary point is the story. Like, yes, there's story in racing games, like Need for Speed, but the primary part is you're racing. You're racing more than you're learning about the story. But then there are other games where the primary part is dialogue and story. Not specifically dialogue, but like there is story. That is what you're there for. So then there's sub-genres, because story is very much broad. Because everything has story. And there's some games that are primary story, but maybe not. So then I thought of the idea of sub-genres. So maybe like open world, choose your own adventure. And what was the other one I mentioned?
Narrative driven.
Narrative. Oh, like single path. Like one way, like God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
So like single path, open world, like Zelda Breath of the Wild. And then maybe like choose your own adventure, like Minecraft story mode for all those OGs.
I'd say that's actually a pretty good breakup. Do we want to do those as our three?
We can do those. Because like Zelda is very much open world, but I'm not classifying open world the same as some other ones that could be open world. Because theoretically, racing games could also be open world. Right? Like I can just go drive anywhere. But is that open world? In the same sense of a story open world. And I think, again, the first option for open world is probably going to be Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Right?
Well, we would just say Zelda because franchise.
Zelda, yes, Zelda. Not for two, but like those big games. There's very much story. There's side quests, right? Like there is story there. Figuring out what happened to Link, how he got there, regaining his memories. So like in Breath of the Wild, you're going to get your memories back. Tears of the Kingdom, you might be doing the same thing, well, different types of memories. But in the end, the open worldness is you can do whatever you want, whenever you want. If you're a madman, you could go beat Calamity Ganon with your little stick from your spawn area. Or you can go defeat the beast to help defeat the boss in the end. So there's that not crushing, but like that significant drive of a specific path is not there. My first time, I did the elephant. This time when I played Breath of the Wild, I went to the birds. I can get the flight. You can do whenever you want, whatever you want, whenever you want. That is what I think when I think sandbox.
Yeah.
Not sandbox, open world.
So,
But it's not whatever, because you can't break everything, right? Like, I can't go through it just like Lego worlds.
it's definitely worth noting here. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are very different from the rest of the Zelda franchise. So we're not counting like Ocarina of Time. You know, that's like a completely different thing. So
no.
Yeah, we're just Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom when we say Zelda. And then next, I want to say Assassin's Creed.
Sure, yeah, Assassin's Creed.
Especially the newer 3 games, hugely focus on the open world and the things you can collect there, and like the side quests and stuff that exist.
Spider-Man, like 2018.
Yep, Spider-Man.
So it's like, there's very much that driven path. Right now, I've been playing the game for almost 4 hours, and I still haven't been to meet Aunt May for the first time, because I just discovered the entire map, going through all the landmarks. I can do whatever I want, fight, level up, do everything.
Now, Elder Scrolls, I think, is also one we have to put in here.
I was going to say, like, Elder Scrolls, Skyrim is in that, right?
Yep, Skyrim is Elder Scrolls,
yeah. So that's definitely a big one.
We could say something easy like Fallout. I think that's a pretty easy one, but I think we should try and find something a little more different.
Yeah, try to break it up. Any Star Wars games, question mark? What about the new one with like the new planets? Or no? Would you classify that as open world?
What do you mean? The Jedi Survivor?
Yeah. I haven't seen too much.
I'd say
I know
that
it's a sequel to Fallen Order, but I haven't seen too much gameplay.
I'd say that is open world. A lot of people call it open zone, however, because it is like different worlds that you can't freely explore, because there is like a path through the areas. There are more so like 3 different areas that you can freely walk around, and the rest is like paths through the different areas. So I don't know about that one.
Okay, I got 2 other ones. We have Sons of the Forest. I want to say this one first because I don't know if you know this one.
I've heard of it. I don't know much about it.
It's the sequel to The Forest. It's very much open world. It's also, I don't know. I'm actually going to drop that, because now that I'm thinking about it, there's possibility of it being a sandbox based on our definition. So there's next. Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, I'd call that an open world.
So Hogwarts Legacy. Horizon Forbidden West. So I don't know about the whole series.
I do think that series does fall under open world.
I think that's good then. Was that 5?
Yes, we do have 5. I am a little let down about the variation here. I guess it is a very broad kind of thinking.
I think like open world is more specific, because you don't see these as open world story games. You just see them as a story game, right? Like, you're not going into...
Well, no, I definitely see these as open world, because like I said before, if any of you know, I don't think Seth knows very well, the Guardians of the Galaxy game, that game, you do walk around, and you explore the area, but it is strictly narrative. You only go where the characters go in the story. So that's a different kind of story game. That would be a narrative-driven, whereas open world, definitely Assassin's Creed, Spider-Man, Elder Scrolls, 100%.
But I don't know what other
GTA,
because there is... Yeah.
GTA?
Yeah, we can throw that in there.
I'd say GTA is a good one to add, because
Okay,
that
let's
also gets
GTA
in that kind of like driving variation.
Yeah. That there is like story, you can do the story just like Spider-Man, but you can also kind of do whatever you want.
All right, so we have Zelda, Assassin's Creed, Spider-Man, Elder Scrolls, and GTA.
Cool. Narrative.
Yes.
Do you want to go narrative next?
Yes. So I'm gonna add Guardians of the Galaxy, because I've been saying that one. You can add Guardians of the Galaxy because we just talked about that. God of War. Like when I was hearing about the games for the year for last year, it was God of War Ragnarok and Elden Ring. Right. Both great games. But from what I've heard from the community and what I was seeing, especially after it and talking about which one did deserve it, even after the vote, what I think
Elden Ring, it was so much more popular for longer because there's so much open. I'm talking with my friends the other day, and they're still playing Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring, and it's like, what build do I want to do? Because I can do a bow build, I can do only spells, I can do great swords, I can do like all these different types of things. It's that replayability for Elden Ring, which is an open world, versus something like God of War Ragnarok, which though it has a great story and visuals and audio, it's kind of like there's only really one ending. Or even if there is multiple endings, like Call of Duty campaigns, some have a lot, some don't. Cold War, it has endings, but only has 2 based on like the final question. So I'd say that it's more narrative. I'm not saying Call of Duty, by the way. I'm just saying, like, even if there's multiple endings, if they're not different enough, I don't classify that as non-narratives.
Another one I want to point out is Hellblade. I'm not sure if you know much about that one. I tried it a little bit. I never finished it, but it is definitely another one of those popular games. I think it's more of an Xbox one now that I think about it. I don't know. But it is definitely one that's like, here's your character, here's some areas. You can walk around when there's like a puzzle, but it is only the story once again.
So here's one that I'm going to disagree with based on Googling narrative-driven games. Red Dead Redemption 2. No.
Yeah, no, that's
is Old West GTA.
Yeah, that's open world.
Detroit Become Human.
I'd say that's more of a choose your own adventure.
Choose your own adventure. Okay. I'm seeing God of War. Undertale.
I
don't know. Like, I know there's the gameplay is very different, but based on like where you're going in the game, right? Like the boss that you're fighting, is it very driven? Kind of like God of War, like it's 1-to-1-to-1. I haven't played it.
I'd say the problem with Undertale is that there are 3 endings.
Okay, so you say if there's maybe, but how do you choose those endings, right? Because like I said, like I'd say even if there's 2 endings based on like 1 or 2 choices, it's still very strict.
I'd say
narrative.
As long as the character ends up in the same spot. The problem with Undertale is there's a bad ending where like evil and completely different, like it changes the entire world around you. I'd say it has to, the game's goal has to be telling you a story, and that story always ends in the same place.
Okay. Portal 2?
Portal 2. Yeah, I'd call Portal narrative driven.
Yeah.
So
I'm seeing here
Portal?
BioShock. Again, I don't know it much.
I have not
Do you know of it?
played BioShock.
Again, this is the part of the episode where I remind you we thought about this about 30 seconds before we started recording, so we did not do research into these top 5. We are literally researching and figuring it out as we go, which makes it fun because we just have goofy talks like this, trying to figure out narrative-driven games. What are those?
Yeah, there's quite a few interesting ones. I don't know what Kentucky Route Zero is. I know. This one's a very, like, I don't know how much of a deep cut, because I have heard it's pretty popular, but it's definitely an indie. What Remains of Edith Finch? Do you know what that is?
No.
That one is basically you're playing as a girl who's investigating her childhood house where a bunch of her family members ended up dying from what she believes to be a curse. But it's like modern day mystery, kind of like eerie, but you're playing through one ending, it's telling you a story.
Okay. I have a few different ones. One, I have a question, and 2 other ones that I think fit the pot pretty well. Nier Automata. I'm seeing this on a list. Story-based.
I would consider
I don't know
open
the game,
world.
So
I think
you're gonna. Okay, I don't know that one, but that's what the list is saying. So I don't know, but it's also saying Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
But here's another 2.
Yep.
Last of Us.
Last of Us is actually. Are there multiple endings?
I don't think so. And
I know
it's
a very choice-based game, isn't it?
It is very choice-based.
But is it more relationship-wise?
There are some times where it's like, choose like what you want to say to them. But generally, you're going left or right. Like, you're always, like I was talking with my friend, and I was like, I'm 5 hours in. I'm at this spot. They knew which spot I'm at. It's like, oh, here, you're about to do this. You're about to do this. There is no variation. You are at this point after this point. And that's what I think of when narrative. Whereas choose your own adventure, Minecraft story mode, you can be at a different spot based on decision. Even if I make a decision in Last of Us, I'm going to the same place.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going up instead of down on the house because it's a little bit more open.
So we have The Last of Us then.
So Last of Us.
Witcher. I will swap out the Witcher's huge open world.
Open world? Okay.
Yeah. I'll swap out Hellblade for The Last of Us.
Cool.
All right, so we have Guardians of the Galaxy, God of War, The Last of Us, Portal, and What Remains of Edith Finch.
Okay.
All right, then choose your own adventure.
Minecraft story modes.
Yep.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even know how many choose your own adventure other than story mode that I've played that's not a book. I love reading books like that. I don't know how many games I've really
Tales
played.
from the Borderlands. That one is another Telltale series.
Okay.
And then there's Detroit Become Human.
Detroit Become Human. Yeah. Oh, here's when to open up that variety a little bit. Henry Stickmin.
Absolutely, yes.
Henry Stickmin. Let's
Henry
throw that. Let's
Stickmin.
do that. Yes. A classic, but definitely choose your own adventure.
Yes. Absolutely. I love that one. What's another one?
I see Walking Dead. I don't know though.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's just another Telltale one. I feel like we need a little bit more variation than that.
You said Nirvana was open world?
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the Steam page for Choose Your Own Adventure. Let's see what we got. Henry Stickmin collection. Sims 4. I'm gonna say probably not. Just from the Borderlands.
This one is a little bit tougher.
Because again, like, this is definitely a type that is very, like, tropey in a sense. But for, like, popular ones, I think book more than video game. That doesn't mean they don't exist.
Yeah.
But I'm also looking at these games, and I keep seeing, I've seen, like, I don't know, I'm looking at the Steam page, and there's, like, 10 different Sims 4. I'm not saying Sims 4 is Choose Your Adventure.
There was a more recent one that came out. What was it? It was one that came to Game Pass. Let me see if I can find it here.
Ding.
Bruh, all these sites are making me turn off my ad blockers. I can't even.
That's rough. Game of Life 2. Seen that multiple times now.
GTA is not a choose your own adventure. I'm sorry.
Oh, I have an idea. It's kind of RPG, but also I feel like it could fit in this. Baldur's Gate 3. Would you say that's choose your own adventure? Like it's D&D, but you're choosing the way you go based on like clicking. I was watching my friend play. Yes, there's more to that, like that RPG MMO type aspect because it's D&D. I'm rolling dice, but it's very much driven by your choices.
It's a very good question. I don't actually know.
From what I'm thinking, when I think this, yes, there's a lot more to it, just like some of these other games, like Borderlands 3. There's so much more than a shooting, but it's shooting. And I feel like that is the whole point of this. Yes, it's like D&D, but in the sense of you're going through a story like D&D.
Yeah. But
through
a lot of it is also strategy
elements.
elements.
There's also strategy in Overwatch, which is a shooter.
I haven't played. I feel like this is one where if I played, I'd be able to give a more definitive answer.
From what I've seen, and I just saw my friend playing for like 15 minutes, and he raged because he tried to bring a goblin somewhere, then he instantly died, then tried to redo it, and the goblin walked into a storm of knives, and he got really mad. Because NPC pathfinding is great. Because all his guild walked through the storm of knives. I'd say that. I'm gonna say that.
All right. We'll add that one. Yeah.
I don't really know anything else. We only have 3, but I can't really think of any other big ones.
We have 5.
5? We have 5?
Minecraft Story Mode, Tales from the Borderlands, Detroit Become Human, Henry Stickmin, and Baldur's Gate.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yep.
5.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Well, I think we gotta call it quits here. I think if we come up with any more down the line, we can do another episode, kind of wrapping it up and then going back over, make sure we're solid about it, and then eventually probably break down each genre even more.
That's what the idea was. Right? We're gonna go down and go through. Maybe this is where we like lifts our top 3 shooter games, right? Like I might not have Borderlands in there, or we're gonna break down the subgenres. Like open world, let's talk about some open world type story games. Racing games, let's talk about these different types of racing games, like Mario Kart versus The Crew. We're gonna break it down, talk about these specific games a lot more, and just yeah. Do you want to quickly go over before we end it the genres that we did decide? Because it's a little chaotic.
Fighting, sports, FPS, racing, platformer, sandbox, battle royale, narrative-driven, open world, and choose your own adventure.
I think those are some solid genres.
Yeah.
That now I think not just me and you, but I feel like anyone who's listening now just kind of, now that we've actually sat down and thought about these topics, kind of brought the question of, like, same thing with like IPs. It's so unclear, and copyright, like, it's so unclear really what things are.
Yeah. But now we have a good idea, and you guys have a good idea of what we're referring to.
And now we also have this out there on the internet that if either of us say something stupid, you guys can be like, this is what you guys said. Stop it. This is what you said.
Yep. All right, well, thank you all for listening. Make sure to tune in to the sequel of these episodes when they inevitably come out. This was fun. Make sure you follow us on Spotify. Follow our social medias at NerdRant Podcast.
I think we started around 6:30 and now it's 8:04. That's great.
Yeah.
And with that, catch you on.
Yes. Bye.